Jelly Nation Cooking. Please share and like this video and share it with all your friends and neighbors and relatives and even people you don't know. Just share it to everybody. So today we're going to be doing some fig preserves, or actually probably some fig jam. It's fig season here in East Texas, and some friends of ours gave us a ton of brown turkey figs. That's what these are. And we are going to take these. We got 4 bags of them. I don't know how much that is, but we'll make some fig preserves or fig jam. I actually like jam better than I like preserves, because preserves gets to be a little chunky, and I actually like my jelly and jams kind of smooth and that sort of thing. But you can make them however you want. Now, I've seen dozens of different videos online on how to do this, and some are just homegrown remedies, some are pretty intense, but we're going to do a very simple recipe today for these figs. And I like figs because you can make a jam, or you can make a jelly or preserves, or even you can make these what I call figs in a blanket. These are so good, and they take a little while to make. It's hard to get the little fig stuff inside the little blanket there. Well, I mean, these are what? You can buy these like this? Seriously? You just never know. So hang with us. We're gonna see what we can get into today. We'll be back. All right, as with anything that we do here, you gotta have all the tools and all the pieces to do it right. So we're gonna start, we have our vanilla. We're gonna use a little bit of vanilla in this recipe. We're gonna have sugar, and we're gonna have a little bit of fresh lemon. We've got our measuring cup over here. We've got another measuring cup. Then we have our funnel, of course, our jar removal item there, and our magnet to remove our lids. And then we also have a food processor that we're going to use today. I don't want it particularly lumpy, so we're going to use that to kind of pulverize them down. Over here we have this is what we're going to cook our figs down in. This is our water bath for the canning process. And then there's our lids. We'll heat those up in a little while to make sure they're good and sterile. I have my jars in the oven right now, heating up. I've already washed them and sanitized them. All right, we've got about 8 cups of really, really nice figs. We've cleaned them, and we've cut the ends off of them. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put them inside this mixer here, and it's going to cut them up real small pieces so that we can make a nice jam out of it. All right, so I've got some in here, didn't really spill any hardly. We're gonna cut that, put that on there, and we're going to that should be enough. About 10 seconds. I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to pour this into our pot that we're going to be making all this in. We'll put this back on here. Put our blade back in. Pour the rest of these in there. Awesome. Put that in there like that. Now the rule of thumb is this, and I heard a lot of different numbers when I was looking at it online. The rule of thumb is you take something like 8 cups of figs, then you half that with sugar. So it'd be 4 cups of sugar. Now I heard all kinds of different amounts, but we're gonna go with that one because it's real easy to remember. So we have 8 cups of figs, whole figs. We're gonna do 4 cups of sugar. You know, you don't have to be exactly precise. These figs are very sweet. So that's 3. And then a little bit. It's about 4. Then we're going to do 2. So 8, 4, and then 2 cups of water. Okay, we're going to do 2 cups of water. So we have 8 cups of figs, 4 cups of sugar, and then 2 cups of water. Then we're going to do a lemon here real quick. We'll just slice that in half. What I want to do is about a tablespoon, and you could do without the seeds. I'll pick those out in a minute. Good tablespoon of lemon juice, so you get some acid in there. You could use regular lemon juice out of a bottle if you wanted to. I just happen to have fresh lemon today. So now we'll move over to the stove, and then we will start cooking this down a little bit. So I'm gonna turn the fire on and get that going pretty good. Move this back out of the way for a second. And what we want to do is get this stirred up, mixed up, and then we'll cook it down. Got to bring it to a boil. Once we bring that to a boil, we're going to let it boil for about 15 minutes. And you don't want to leave it. You want to make sure you're here while it's doing this, because you don't want it to burn. And now, like what I'm doing right now, there's a few big pieces that were in there that didn't get pureed. And that's fine if you want to leave them in there. I want a real smooth jam when we get done. I mean, I used to jam in high school. It was a little different, but this jam is a little bit different. So we'll do this for a little bit, and we'll come back when it starts to boil. So we're stirring. It's a really, really nice brown color. Still got a couple of fairly large pieces of fig in there, but we'll leave them in there, and we'll just cook it down anyway. Hadn't started to boil yet, but we're just stirring. I've also got my water over here, my water bath on, so that it can start heating up. Remember, I have my jars already in the oven at 200 degrees, so they're heating up. And I've got my lids over here with a fire on to get those to a warm temperature. We're not going to boil those lids. We're just going to get them to a warm position so we can put those on the jars when we put all this in there. So we're going to come back when it starts to boil, and we'll give it probably 10 minutes. I said 15 minutes ago, a little while ago, but we'll do 10 minutes on this. All right, we'll be back. I will note that if you're doing this and you're starting to get a boil, you want to be careful, because it is sugary, and if it splatters up on you, it really burns. Not that I know that personally, but I've heard that warning on several different videos that I've watched and learned. And I'd rather learn from others' mistakes than my own. I burned myself before it hurts. And I would rather not burn it today. Now, I did say we're going to boil this at 10 minutes. The reason you don't want to take it any longer than that, because it'll start to caramelize. All right, we got a full-fledged boil. And we've started our timer for 10 minutes. Now you'll see some white foam started to collect on the top. That's okay, that should disappear as we cook this down over the next 10 minutes. You just want to be careful, stir it continuously so that it doesn't stick. And then when the timer goes off, we'll shut it off, and then we will put it in our canning jars that are waiting. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, I took about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and I added that here at the last couple of minutes. So just a couple of teaspoons of vanilla extract will be awesome to put in there, and it'll give it a really nice flavor. Alright, once you get everything in there, then you need to kind of clean the tops. Make sure there's no debris and everything on there that you might have splattered a little bit of a juice or something on there. And you don't really want to have anything hindering that. So you can add a little vinegar or something to do that. Alright, we got all the lids on there. We're going to see how many of these we can get into our canning. We'll lift these. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the half pints, and then 3 of the quarter pints. My other hot water that I had already, I'm going to pour that in here. There you go. And then when it reaches the boil, we'll put a lid on it, and then we will boil it for about 15 minutes. We're just about to get to a rolling boil on our canning pot. Once this reaches that rolling boil stage, then what we're going to do is put the lid on it and set the timer for 15 minutes. Alrighty, we're going to take these out one at a time carefully, and we're going to place these on a rack. We're not going to set them on the countertop. We're going to place them in an elevated position. If they don't pop, then that means they didn't seal properly. And if that's the case, that doesn't mean they're bad. That just means you cannot put them in a cupboard without refrigeration. You have to put them in the fridge or something. Get them all in the rack, and we'll leave them for, like, say, about 24 hours. Let them cool down nice. Let them set up. And then we'll be able to open one and test it out. Alrighty, so we've got all of our jars here. We've tested them out. And the way you kind of test them is you tap the top, and you can tell that the lids have been drawn down, so they have kind of an angle like that. If they were up like that and you were able to click it, then it wouldn't be sealed. So they're still quite warm. We haven't let them cool. It'll have to take another day before we can actually let them cool. All right, everybody, I've really enjoyed jamming with you today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for being a part of this video. And don't forget to like and share this video with all your friends, neighbors, and those you don't know. Thank you, guys. Be safe, and God bless. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.